In the stock market, you have bears and you have bulls, and then sometimes you have ultra bears and ultra bulls, and sometimes you have cyber bulls. And I've got one of the cyber bulls with me today. It is Herbert from Brighter, who's going to tell us a little bit about what it's like being a fan of Tesla, an advocate for the future of things that Tesla is engaged in. We're going to have a chat. I'm Brian. Welcome to Future Ozza. So, Herbert, tell me, we've talked a million times and we've done a video kind of like this, but it was when we barely knew each other. So I want to go over this again. First of all, what is your background in tech things and investing things? Why are you authoritative on any of this?
I am not authoritative on any of this, and I still don't consider myself. So if you notice what I do at my channel, my YouTube channel called Brighter with Herbert, is 100% interviews. I am here to interview the people who are authoritative. And who do I have every Wednesday that I rely on? It's a guy who kind of hangs out at his own channel called Future Ozza. So I ask a question, you answer, you're brilliant. It's like people like you who knows your stuff. So I don't actually consider myself to be the authority. Now, having said that, I have a pretty good argument that because all I do every day is listen to very smart people talking about the topics that I'm interested in, I do get I have the more broad knowledge of what's actually happening than most people. So for that perspective, I feel like I have that. But yeah, my background, I am actually in healthcare. I was a director of pharmacy long time ago, decades and decades ago. But I switched and I did an MBA. I worked at IBM Global Services, and I got into product management and I ran business units. So I got out of, I'm still in healthcare analytics. I've created, platforms and apps. I've created 3 startups, but I am driven by technology. So, the person that I, really admired the most is Steve Jobs and Apple for the longest time, because they showed how to build a company and build products the right way. I became a product manager myself. That would be my, I'm startup CEO and others, but I really, I gravitate towards product. I think that if you understand, how do you deliver a solution to a problem, how to understand the problem, how to define the problem, which I've consulted with a number of very large Fortune 50 companies to tell them how to understand the problems that a particular audience, a customer base might have. From there, understand what solution you might be able to deliver. And oftentimes it's the technology, the innovation, that you're offering something that hasn't been done before because the problem still exists. And so if you try to solve that problem with a solution, that is the most exciting thing in the world, is having customers just absolutely, thrilled with what you're offering them. And so that's why Steve Jobs is forever the longest person. And then now, of course, it's Elon Musk. I really just look at Elon and Tesla as companies that, as the person who surpassed Steve Jobs, as the person who is the most innovative, the person who knows how to create not only products, but business models. I mean, this is the most incredible lesson anybody can ever have. And it's just fascinating. So that's why I'm just thrilled to continue to learn from this.
Well, I would say a lot of people call Elon lucky, but you can't get lucky that many times in a row.
Not lucky, yeah.
That's not how luck works. He just throws money at problems. Other people do that too without success. It's more than just the money. So I understand why someone would be thrilled and passionate about Apple. I mean, they did invent the white headphone cable. Right there. They did make orange computer cases. That's amazing. Now, I kid. I understand the Apple enthusiasm. They've led many times. They were a company that wasn't afraid to disrupt themselves before someone else could do it to them. Yeah. So why Tesla? Are there no other companies that stir your cocoa?
Stir my cocoa. There are many companies that stir my cocoa. And like I say, it's really any company that can create technology and innovation, right? So I personally, you know how like some people have different, what do they call it? Things that they make them feel like they're the expert in a space, like, or that make them feel like they're an authority in a space, although we just talked about not authority. But one of them for me, right, is like, I feel like I'm the guy that knows and tries out the new things before everyone else is. And then I introduce them to that new thing, right? So I've done this all my life, right? So I'm like, I had one of the most early Gmail accounts. I had one of the earliest Twitter X account. I had one of the most, first Instagram people that would get in and make sure I get it. I want to beta test things, right? I bought the first Apple iPhone. Whatever product out there, I want to test it out. I want to play with it. I want to understand how they build it because I'm a startup guy myself. So I want to understand, how do they launch this? How do they come up with this idea? How do they know that what feature combinations, what value propositions do you have to have in order for it to be truly a breakthrough, truly a market disruptor? And so, yeah, I think that Tesla is one of those people, just one of those companies, just like Apple. Many companies are like that. So the thing I'm looking for is a company that is an innovation engine, not just one, but like keeps doing it over and over and over again, right? Reinventing other new markets, because that's what you're putting your bet on. So in terms of investment, just to be clear, right? I don't tell people what the stock is going to be. So this is a misconception people have. Like you'll have audience members come to me and go, "You're the most bullish person I've ever seen. Like you're hyper bull." I'm like, "Well, what is my stock target?" I've been on. I've been on a video for 3 years now. I've done 500 shows. I thought 700 shows. Have you ever heard me say to you what the Tesla stock price is going to be at any moment in time? I don't do that. I interview people. They tell me what it is. And then people go, "Oh, that's what you said." I go, "No, I interviewed somebody and they told me that." The only time I've ever said a stock price target is when somebody like 3 years ago pushed me to give an answer. And my answer at that point, and still is today, is like, well, I think you take what the earnings are. And if it grows as fast as the car market grows, I can feel comfortable that at some point the stock will be at that price, right? So if the stock market, if the Tesla continues to grow 50% per year, maybe the stock will follow. Eventually, I have no idea what the stock will be. I'm a long-term investor. I don't care about what happens in the first year, second year. I can't predict what it'll be. So this is what I've been saying all this time. But people go, "Oh, you're the most bullish person out there." So I just pick companies. I am attracted to Apple. I was an early investor in Amazon. These are the kinds of, like, it had to be for me a company that is disrupting an entire industry. So not just Costco. I invested in Costco. My wife wanted to put money in Costco and Johnson & Johnson. And we did. Like, we obviously, first of all, just no financial advice here. I do not know what's going to happen to stocks. But obviously, everybody, you have a set amount of money. You should invest. You should have a bunch of cash. You should have cash. You might want to put in real estate, right? You want to put some in CDs, more guaranteed returns. You might want to put some in companies that are stable, like a Johnson & Johnson and Costco. There's nothing wrong with that. I invest in those companies too. And then you want to take some of it and put it into innovative companies that have a chance to disrupt the market, because if they do end up disrupting that market, the returns are outsized and they take over that market, right? Significant amount of that market. That's what excites me the most. And so you have Tesla comes in and they have their first market is electric vehicles. They have a good plan. They have a good leader. They clearly have shown that how they're going to disrupt the electric vehicle market. At that time, you remember, I started investing in Tesla in 2012. There was no one else making electric vehicles. Before I invested in Tesla, by the way, I don't know if you know this. Did you know that I invested in another electric vehicle company?
No, I don't think I did.
They're called Ballard Power in Vancouver. They were making these buses, hydrogen powered. And I thought, okay, I want to invest in that company. I lost a bunch of money. It was too early. So several years later, I started investing in Tesla because first electric vehicle makes sense that they can disrupt gas cars, right? I mean, just very basic things. No engine, more crumple zone, safer. No engine, less supply parts, less service. Faster on the takeoff because of the torque. And it's just, it just makes sense. So it was less about the environment than it is about this product. If it works, it's going to disrupt the entire auto market. Then,
So interestingly, the three companies you named, Apple, Amazon, and Tesla, you went into because they were going to disrupt one industry, and all of them ended up disrupting multiple industries. And because if you're in disruption mode, I guess that's what you do. So there are bulls, there are ultra bulls, there are hyper bulls. Yeah. Where would you put yourself on the spectrum? And the reason I ask is because there are people in the comments who have said, oh my gosh, Herbert is a blind bull. Yeah. He's way over the top.
You know, it is funny. Scale? I see these comments on my channel as well. And they go, you're the most hyper bull person I've known. I'm going, wait, did you watch the same show that we just watched? Because of the four people in that panel, I'm not the one that said that Cybertruck delivery is going to be 120,000 this year. I'm not the one who said that the stock is going to be $10,000 in 5 years. I'm not the one that said that whatever, right? I didn't say any of that. And I said, please be more specific. Why do you say that? And he replied, because you smile. I'm like, it's because of the way you say it, your enthusiasm. So I get you. I'm excited about Tesla. I know. I laughed about it. And he goes, I still maintain my position that you're the most hyper bull, despite me not saying any of these kind of outlandish statements. Like people say, you said that there's going to be 2,000 humanoid bots. I didn't say that. That was Scott Walter and Ryan and Randy Kirk. They were the ones that are saying those kind of things. And I would just say, what these people are saying. So I am excited about Tesla, but I am not somebody who is saying buy Tesla because it's going to be $10,000 a stock. I don't know what it will be. So I consider myself a bull because I see the potential where Tesla is going to go. I'm definitely not a hyper bull. I'm not one of those people that's going to be like, it's going to be 10,000 or like, I can see it might go that, but I'm not going to verbalize it to people. I'm not here to try to convince anybody anything. I'm just more like, I think this company, I look at the business and the product. I keep explaining to people, I'm less of a stock person. Now, a lot of my shows is about stock because that's who my audience is. My audience are Tesla investors. But I do my best to, what do I do every show? I look at the latest news, and then I interview somebody to explain what that news means to the business and the stock. But for me, it's more like the product and the business. Is this business succeeding? Is it progressing? Are they making the right moves? Is there some sort of strategic thing that might happen? And you're piecing together the crumbs that you're seeing, and you're going, oh my God, if this works out, that's the things I get excited about. Now people go, oh my God, you're being hyper. Maybe I am. I probably am. But that's if you just look at it, I'm not hyper about the stock. I'm hyper about the strategy. Like, oh my God, look at how what they're doing for the car is actually the same thing that's going to apply to the bot. And then I go and research all the CEOs of all the bot companies out there and realize, hey, bots are real. People are saying that it's impossible and it won't happen 5-10 years. No, all these CEOs are telling me they can build this product.
Here's 100 companies that disagree.
And then not only can build the hardware, but in fact, they're shocked that the intelligence and the ability to train is so much easier than they all thought, including PhD students at Stanford showing that just 50, they do it human teleoperation of 50 times. The bot can now do it, including the correction error, 85% success rate. Like let's say, teach the bot how to push a chair in. Teach about the press an elevator button. Teach about the clean spilled wine on the table. They just do it 50 times. And I'm like, okay, how? And then so people are going, no, you're being bullish. You're so bullish for making statements like that. Guess what? 3 months later, literally just 3 months later, this has happened in January. By March, bot demo, bot announcement, AI announcement, and everybody's like, oh yeah, bots are here. Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I get that in my comments as well. You're just pumping the stock. You said FSD would be solved on date. No, I did not. You never say anything bad about Tesla. Watch some more videos because I guarantee you, I mostly say good things because I mostly see good things. But I'll call things out when they need to be. And that doesn't make me popular. I know there are channels out there that will never say anything bad. But what you and I do is, I think, different because, first of all, we use our real names, and the people who despise us all use fake names. I'd be very curious to know who some of these dangerous people are. These dangerous, reckless, careless people who hide behind a veil of anonymity.
Yeah, let me address that a little bit too, because one of the arguments people have is, oh, Herbert, your channel is all about positive things and you only interview bulls. Well, okay, let's unpack that a little bit. One of the people that was on my Cyberbulls channel group, Cyberbulls, is Christian. Christian he's not a bull of Tesla. He's bullish on Tesla when he thinks it's bullish, and then he's a momentum trader. He pulls out of Tesla when he thinks it's negative things are going to happen. He's bearish sometimes. He thinks it's going to fall. But then he just turns around again as the months go by and he changes the environment. That's him. I've had him on 85 out of 100 plus shows that we've done, 100 shows. And he was just on a couple of weeks ago. It was his choice. People think, oh my God, you kicked him out. God, please, we're friends. It was his choice to not talk Tesla 100% of the time. He got tired of that. He's back every time he feels comfortable talking about it. And then they're going, well, I have people. It's just that it's hard to find a bear who is not lying.
Rational.
Like, yeah. I have Gordon Johnson 5 times in spaces that I've held and invited him to speak. People go, you don't ever invite these people. But then he goes off, rambles on, interrupts people. And every time he says something, they're all false info. Maybe a couple that sounds right, and I'd like to dig deeper, but then he just changes the topic and it goes on an attack. I don't want to talk to people like that. I want to talk to somebody who can actually give you a fact. We will both agree that that's a fact, and then talk about it. Right? Is it real? Is it not real? How do we view that? But it's hard to find these people. So if you're a bear that wants to talk with that kind of thing, kind of angle, come. We'll invite you.
The invitation is open on my end as well. I have reached out. There was a person I used to work with quite a bit who was in favor of hydrogen. And I asked him once, I said, I'd like you to come on the show and talk in favor of hydrogen. I want you to defend it and I'll be on the other side. And he said, no. And I was like, really? No, because he couldn't defend it and he knew it. So, but it's what he had to say for his viewers, I guess. So let's put this to the test once and for all, right here, right now. Herbert, say something that is true and bad about Tesla.
True and bad Tesla. So I'm not an Elon acolyte. I don't like and I don't agree with a lot of his statements that he makes on X. He's not like the perfect individual that I'm like bowing to. Having said that, I think he's the most incredible, innovative business person I've ever met, maybe in our lifetime, maybe not even beyond our lifetime. I think ever. He's the person that's going to change the world the most. So despite these things that he says, I look at it net. He's one of the most impactful people to the humanity. What was changing the world. And now that we're going into AI and bots, I feel more comfortable having him be the person that's leading that way than anyone else. So again, people look at you and going, oh my God, you just love Elon, don't you? I'm like,
Well, you just gave an 80% positive answer to the question, what's something negative? Sorry. But your answer was some of the things he says that are outside of tech are you don't agree with.
Yeah.
Okay, now say something true and bad about Tesla itself.
Oh, about Tesla itself. I guess I'm much more when I see some company that's trying to do innovation, I'm much more lenient when they're delayed. Things take time because it's different. So again, it's a positive spin on a negative answer.
But the delays annoy you.
The delays do not annoy me because I am somebody who,
okay, say something bad. You gotta do it, man. Prove it. Prove you're not a blind bull. I have faith in you, my brother.
In terms of Tesla themselves, gosh, I mean, I guess I don't have anything bad, honestly, because if I were them, I would cut I'm the opposite of what people are saying, which is they do need to advertise. I believe that, and again, this is something that people attack me on. I'm going like, no, I've always said they should advertise. I said they should not have advertised in lieu of the price cuts in 2020 when they cut it down by 20%, but because they need to bring the price down to price parity. But now they should be advertising. I'm a proponent that a company should do everything: advertise, market, social media, go on YouTube, go on Twitter, do the street, ground, whatever events. They should do everything. So they should be doing more advertising. And I think that's stubborn of Tesla not to do getting out there and doing more of that. But they're relying on reinventing word of mouth. And I think that if he was to do advertising, he wants to reinvent the advertising. He just doesn't want to do a commercial per se. But it's the time has spent waiting for that is too long. They should have been out there doing it.
So I will give some criticism. I would say that they need a PR department. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I would say, but most of my criticisms are things where I would say, I want this, but I need more information to know if I should. For example, I want to see you guys go crazy expanding the supercharger network. But before we do that, quick question, can I see the numbers to know if what I'm saying is good advice? I want you to get to work on those new factories. Oh, but quick question, can I see 1010 first so I know if that even makes sense, if we're even asking the right question? Herbert, we got a show to get to, so I'm going to thank you for your time. My fairly bullish friend, but I'd rather not be a bear in a china shop. I'd be a bull in a china shop, and I'm not going to knock anything over because that myth has been debunked. Thank you, Adam and Jamie from Mythbusters, for testing that one, so we didn't have to. Guys, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Leave it in the comments, and then you can just also write it on a note and mail it to yourself. It's nice to get stuff in the mail. It feels good. Okay. Everybody else, like, subscribe, stay tuned and juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever bears and bulls on the flippity flop.